Welcome to the Fruitful Fertility Co. podcast, your holistic, faith-filled, no-fluff guide to getting pregnant naturally. I'm your host and TTC BFF, Tori Black, here to pull you out of your weariness and cheer you into God's calling to be a mother, all while giving you the simple, bite-sized steps to improve your fertility. Let's trade stress and overwhelm for hope, because girl, you look fertile to me. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fruitful Fertility Co. podcast. I have a very special guest with you today. She is someone that I have found in the Frequence community, and I really love the way she speaks to her secondary infertility story on her page and the way she just addresses the things that are sometimes not said, that we don't hear a lot in the fertility space, and it's very refreshing. And she has a really cute baby to show for it, all her hard work and the knowledge that she can share with us. So, Michael, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your fertility journey.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So yes, my name is Michael. I am 31 years old. My husband and I have been married for 11 years. We actually have three children. Um, our first baby we had pretty easily. Um, in our first year of marriage, we just got pregnant, and so I didn't really think I'd have any issues. Um, I really did struggle a lot with my mental health, and that was like a lot of childhood trauma and stuff, and didn't really didn't never really address it. I kind of just shoved it down. Um, and when our first was about 2 years old, I realized that um postpartum was like really hitting me. And I don't know if I never really like did a lot of studying of like postpartum or just like depression in general. Um, Everything was hitting me really hard, and I did go to the doctor. I got diagnosed with PMDD. So I was like, I need to find something that's going to help me. And I did not want to go like the medical route at all. I knew a lot of that was kind of just like band-aiding symptoms. It wasn't actually like healing. So I got on these really good supplements, and they had clinical studies behind them and all of that stuff. I even spoke with one of the doctors that rep the supplements, and he encouraged me of like to try all these things, and it kind of was just like a baseline. So I was still dealing with all the things. I was still really struggling mentally, and didn't really like didn't really do any sort of healing. I just created distractions. So
Mm.
I found network marketing when he was just a little bit like I think he was like 2.5. And it was just like a great distraction for me. So I learned to adapt in my life with distraction, and never actually like really addressing anything. So we decided like let's try to have another baby. We thought it would be easy because like it was easy the first time. And that led to 5 years of struggling pretty hard. I thought, that it was just bad timing, like that maybe um maybe like we weren't trying at the right times. And so like I was doing all of the ovulation sticks and tracking my period. I had a pretty regular period. My pregnancy with our first Archie was pretty simple. The only thing was they told me I had low progesterone, so I had to be on progesterone for the first 12 weeks. So like other than that, everything was like easy. Um, so we tried and tried and tried and tried. We ended up in that time period, moving, um, and moved up to the mountains. Like we're in this dream property that we had worked for so long. Didn't think it was going to happen until my husband retired. He pours concrete for a living. He's actually done concrete since he was 12 years old, and he's now in his late 30s. So he has been doing it the majority of his life. And it was just like this was supposed to be, just this great place that we lived, and it's wonderful. And I just kind of like found myself really depressed, still really, really struggling. And struggling with the fertility aspect, and I really, really did not want to go to a fertility doctor. And a lot of people probably like looked at me like, why the heck not? But I didn't think anything was wrong with me. So I was like, I don't want to. And then after 5 years, I was like, you know what? Fine. Like, let's just go. Let's get some blood work done. Let's see if there's anything wrong. Um, and I went, got blood work done, and she said that, there wasn't really anything like alarming. She said I was ovulating. Maybe it just wasn't as strong as she would like. So she put me on Clomid. And I did a round of Clomid and got pregnant with our second and was like, okay, well, maybe that's what it is. And I still never addressed the trauma. It was just more band-aids, I guess, really, like distraction, band-aids. And um after she was born, she like probably about 4 months after she was born, um, everything started kind of coming back. Like the depression was so bad. I was like worst place I'd ever been in. I started having like a serious suicidal thoughts and just feeling like maybe my family would be better off without me, and struggled with that for a really long time. Didn't want to get out of bed. Like I had such bad spiraling thoughts. My brain fog was so horrible. Like literally could not even complete a sentence. I couldn't even like speak because I was so stuck in my head all the time. And yeah, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Um, and when she was about 14 months, I was like, okay, these supplements are not working. I'd still been on these supplements this whole time and was having so many other issues that I was like, I'm spending so much money on these supplements. Even when I was trying to get pregnant with Aspen, I was taking other fertility supplements and nothing was working. So I was like, this is wild that this is happening. And I wasn't feeling any better mentally. So I was like, I had heard about this whole like mushroom thing and like maybe we should try mushrooms, and was very passively looking like nothing's gonna work for me. So why even try? Um, and I literally opened up Facebook one day and was like, huh, interesting. Like this just popped up in my face. It literally popped up in my face and looked at it and was like, I don't know. Like went to the website, looked at the ingredients because one thing was I had been looking at supplements and anything that had like folic acid or anything I couldn't take because I do have the MTHFR gene mutation. So I that's really hard, really, really hard to find supplements without that. And I saw that it had methylated B and I was like, that's cool. And just kind of like my husband and I talked about the price. It was a price that we were like, okay, well, I'm already taking these other supplements that are expensive. And if I continue these, like is this going to replace them or is this just going to be like another additional cost? And so after it was probably a couple weeks that it was just like sitting in my cart basically. And I was finally like, maybe we should just try it and just see, like this was fully to address like my mental health. And I wasn't thinking of anything else. Like I wasn't thinking like we thought the like growing our family was done. We didn't want to go through fertility treatment or anything like that again. I didn't want to take Clomid again. Who knows what that does to your body? Um, or anything else. If that didn't work, I didn't want to deal with it. And so we were like, okay, two, we're good. Like that's fine, I guess. Not what we wanted for our life, but it is what it is. And so we tried a Teva Rise and we split it. So it was 2 weeks and I didn't buy any more because I was like, well, we'll see what happens, and that's just my like procrastination. So I'm just like, well, we'll see. I like to wait until the last minute. And that was good, honestly, because it 2 days not being on it after being on it for 2 weeks, and we both realized like, oh. my goodness, wow. Like it was something that was so subtle, but then after those 2 weeks, I was able to look back and be like, wow, I'm getting out of bed. I'm going outside, spending time with my horses, which, oh, dream animals. We finally had them, and I didn't even want to be around them. And then all of a sudden, I'm out there and I'm cleaning the stalls and wanting to be around them, wanting to brush them, wanting to just be outside and spend time in this dream property that we finally got. And not wanting to like snap at my kids constantly. That was huge for me. Um, and being able to work. I have a another affiliate business and it's something that requires me to be in front of the camera all the time. And I did not even want to look at myself. I was like, ooh, I don't even want to do this. And so I was not. And after those 2 weeks, I look back and I'm like, wow, I created a lot of content. Wow. Like just out of nowhere. I didn't even realize it. And then I look back and I was like, wow. Um, and so I was like, we should probably buy more. Let's just buy it again and see how it goes. And 4 months on the products, just completely out of nowhere, I was like, I probably should take a pregnancy test because I haven't had a period in over 2 months. And I had only gotten my period back for maybe 3, 4 months before that. And so I was like not even thinking about it really because I was still nursing. So I was like, maybe I just in case, just in case. And I took the test on a Sunday morning and I literally just it was positive instantly. And I just started bawling. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this happened. This is this is all God. This is seriously all God, like leading me to these products that are not only helping my mental health, but now just like I got pregnant out of nowhere after dealing with 5 years of infertility and then needing the Clomid and then realizing I didn't actually need it. Like I didn't need it. If I would have had these products, I wouldn't have needed it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I still think about it and I'm like, wow, God is so good.
He
So
is.
good.
That is such a great story. And I love so much what you said about creating distractions. Just creating distractions because I do feel like sometimes in the fertility space there are a lot of distractions. There's a lot of supplements. There's a lot of like biohacking. There's a lot of gadgets. We've got you know the vibration plates, like I feel like those are really popular right now, and all these ovulation strips and ovulation monitors and all these little gadgets, and it's like, but at the root of it, if we take out all the distractions and get back to our nervous system and the things that were true even before we started trying, like so for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were saying that you were dealing with some depression before you even got pregnant the first time, right?
Mhm.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
when you got pregnant the first time, it amplified the depression because now we didn't address kind of like this first stage of depression, and now we're kind of layering postpartum depression
Yeah.
on top of it.
Yep.
And even for me, I kind of experienced the same thing with my second child of just this true depletion because, I think everything truly comes back to your nervous system and minerals. And so
Yeah.
after my second child, I was so depleted because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was so depleted in minerals that I went through that postpartum depression phase too. And had I known that that would be a great way to support myself, I would have been so much better. But I love that take of, I didn't address first things first, I didn't address this. I had a baby and then it just layered to it. Because I think, on our fertility journey, a lot of times we think, well, like as long as I can get pregnant, that'll fix everything. Like
Mhm.
I'll be happy, I'll be fulfilled, I'll feel better. It won't like everything else won't matter. And it's another reason why I think coming at it from a natural, holistic space is so important because we really have to take care of ourselves to be good mothers. It's like you're talking about like even like not wanting to get out of bed and snapping on your kids all the time. Like I remember very vividly snapping on my son when he was like 2 years old in the kitchen. And like what was he doing? Probably nothing, asking for a snack and like snapping to the point that he cried, I cried. But I was just, my nervous system was a hot mess. I
Yeah.
probably was not eating anything or like definitely wasn't focused on minerals, didn't even know anything about minerals at the time. And it's just so important, like you said, to cut out the distractions, cut out all the biohacking, cut out all the tips and tricks and get down to what is really the root cause of the issue because we can see you went from 5 years of not being able to get pregnant to like surprise pregnant,
Yeah.
just because you were
Yeah.
address or using something that was helping you address that root cause. And the thing I love about Rise and Source too is I say that it really is the catalyst. So it's like, we're not always going to overcome our depression or our trauma like instantly. Like that's it's in a perfect world, that would be great, but we live in the real
Yeah.
world where healing like that really takes time. But Rise and Source can really be the catalyst that helps us get there and supports us till we get there. So it's not a band-aid. Like medication, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking medication. It's like if we need medication, then absolutely. But medication is a band-aid in that aspect. But with Rise and Source, it's like we're coming at it from the root cause up. So not only is it helping in the present moment, but it's helping with actual healing, which is so, so important. So that's so good. And yeah, and two, would you tell us, I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. Will you tell us, well, I want to backtrack on two things. I love when you said, like, you didn't want to go to the fertility clinic and you left me like, I didn't feel like anything was wrong because I hear this all the time that people are like,
Yeah.
I feel like they're missing something, talking about the doctor or the clinic or whatever, like they're missing something and like they're not a like some they're not addressing the fact that there's not anything wrong. They're just telling me that I
Yeah.
need IVF, but there's not actually anything wrong. I feel like there's something bigger going on. And so I love that, like, even that realization of even just trusting your gut. I tell women all the time, it's like, trust your gut. When you feel like your gut is telling you, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with me, or like we're
Yeah.
missing the bigger picture, that's so important. But also touch a little bit, and you don't have to give us like obviously don't give us like a big medical definition or anything, but tell us a little bit about what your experience with PMDD was, just because I know a lot of women have this, but they don't have a name for it. They don't know that it's PMDD. They're just having these
Yeah.
awful symptoms. So what did PMDD look like for you?
So yeah, so another thing that I feel like is really important to address too is like my anxiety. This touches on like the minerals. My anxiety presented in a way that I hardly ate at all. Like the thought of food made me want to gag. I was nauseous all the time. Like I never really ate. I ate dinner and I would hardly even eat that. So, not like, yes, the minerals, like not only was I depleted in minerals, but I was depleted in most nutrition. Like I was hardly eating anything at all. So, um, that obviously messes with so many different things. But I was about, I would have maybe like a week where I felt a little bit normal out of my whole cycle. I would have really high highs and really low lows, and I would be just like not depressed to the point where like I was always really suicidal, but I would very like I would get just really low, really down on myself, really like let the enemy speak lies over me a lot and just like really struggle. And I mean, I've struggled for so long, like literally ever since I can remember. I have struggled with this mental state of like, well, maybe the world would just be better off without me. And when I started getting my period, like it was just worse and worse and worse. And so, um, when it was about during like ovulation time, where I would just start to feel really low, really down on myself. And that was like a mental symptom. And then physical symptoms, like I just felt like heavy. I felt bloated. I felt like really just crampy and horrible. Like my digestive system would always be off around that time. I would have headaches almost constantly, like probably 4 to 5 times a week. I would have a headache, migraines multiple times a month. And just feel really awful. And then when you have those physical symptoms too, it just makes your mental symptoms worse because you're like, how can I even function if I have a headache all the time? Um, and I think just it was just like the worst symptom was the mental stuff to where I just felt like, okay, well, I'm about to start my period because I am just like a raging crazy person and I feel I can't control how sad I am or how mad I am. Like I would get mad at the stupidest things and yeah, it was just
Yeah.
not a fun time.
I have some friends that have PMDD and it just yeah, like exactly how you described it is this like when you say raging crazy person like and having no control over it and feeling like I
Yeah,
don't know why I feel this way, but we know that our cycle, our period is another vital sign. And so for us as women, it's like when we have all these symptoms around our cycle, it's like telling us something is off.
yeah,
And you and I know now, like on the on the other end, that like on the other end of the tunnel, that it is our nervous system and it is the minerals and it is, you know, trauma that maybe we have stuffed down, or thoughts you have stuffed down. Like even I love like how vulnerable and honest you're being about like even these suicidal thoughts of like everybody would be better off without me and saying that, that is a lie from the enemy, but that's how dysregulated our nervous system gets. And it, like you said, it's kind of a negative feedback loop. You feel bad mentally, so you feel bad physically, so you feel bad mentally. And it's like, how do you get
yeah,
out of this loop? And then you have 1 week of relief and then
yeah,
you're back to the negative loop. And so that's just so, um, what's the word like draining,
yeah,
I'm sure, And so, and to have
yeah,
something like you said that was like, oh my gosh, I'm making content. Oh my gosh, I got out of bed and spent time with my horses. Like I'm actually doing the things that you're talking about, you and your husband moving and building this house and like, this being your dream. And it's like, I'm actually getting to enjoy my dream that I
yeah.
worked so hard for. So that's really beautiful. You
Yeah, and
talked
I
about,
also
yeah,
oh,
go
I
ahead.
didn't have the symptoms, like the PMDD symptoms. After I started the Rise and Source, I didn't have those symptoms for the few months that I got my period before I got pregnant with Alice. And this time around too, like I just got my period back and it just came out of nowhere. Like I did not have any of those mental, physical, like nothing. Like it was just like, oh, okay, well, got my period back. Wow, that's crazy. That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So I'm just so
amazing.
excited.
I had the same experience. I don't have PMDD, but I just got to where I knew my nervous system was dysregulated. I knew I was a little stressed out and not taking as good a care of myself as I should have. So my period had gotten really short, like 21-day cycles. It was like barely there. Like I would bleed for like 1 or 2 days. My boobs are super sore, which they never were before. And so I knew what it was. I knew what the signs were telling me. But I had the kind of same experience. I started taking Rise and Source, and then after 2 months, I like randomly got my period one day, and I was like, "Am I supposed to get my period?" Like, because I had zero symptoms. I had like
Yeah,
no cramping, no breast tenderness, no nothing. And like, I got out my paper planner because I'm old school and have a paper planner. I was like looking for where I charted my last period, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I am. Like, it's been 28 days. So it was like, beautiful textbook,
uh,
28 days, went from 21 to 28. And I just had no idea because I had no spotting, nothing. And it was just
yeah.
same thing. I was just like, oh, okay, here's a
Wow,
period. All
that's
right.
awesome.
Yes. So it is to me that was the thing that really clicked in my brain because personal spirit experience is always going to be the thing that really, convinces you. But I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is legit. And like you
Yeah,
even mentioned like being on these like amazing certified whatever supplements before you tried Rise and Source, but just not feeling any different, not feeling
yeah,
any
yeah,
yeah, any different because that was one thing I say about Rise and Source too. It's the only supplement I've ever taken that I actually feel different on.
yeah.
I can actually tell that the money I'm spending is well worth it because I can feel the difference. So,
Hmm.
and you kind of mentioned too, like your fears around trying Rise and Source, like you were already trying supplements. Um, but it sounded like you were just like, let's just see. It popped up on your Facebook and it just felt right. So you were just like, I'm just gonna try it and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. It was like, I was praying for something, praying for a solution. Um, and like we had already been talking about mushrooms, so it was probably partly the algorithm, like
Yeah.
just because I was searching mushroom supplements and nothing looked good enough. Like
Mm.
it was like, okay, well this is a lot, like not speaking to Rise and Source, but other mushroom supplements that I is first of all, I do not want to replace coffee. Like I was a hardcore coffee lover, and I still am. But that's something that the Rise and Source did for me is it made me realize how bad coffee was actually making me feel.
Yeah.
So after a few months on the Rise and Source, I was like, I'm gonna just not drink coffee every day and just have it occasionally because it's making me feel really bad. So it was something that I didn't want to replace at all. I didn't want a coffee substitute or anything that tasted like it. And so that was like turning me off from a lot of other mushroom supplements. And just like there was prices and quality, and I was just like, I don't know. And then when this popped up, I was like, wow, these ingredients are good. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
in it, like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different ingredients that are really good for you, not just like a few mushrooms thrown in a product. And also like one of my fears when I did try it, like I will never forget because I even asked the person that I bought it from, I was like, okay, so if it tastes bad, can I put it in a capsule? Because I usually don't like anything that's sweetened with stevia. Like that was a
Same.
big, for me, I was like, oh, why? Like, ugh. But then I tried it and I was literally like, oh my gosh, this is actually really good. This tastes really good. I did have to water it down and I now I water it down because I want it to last longer. I don't
Mm-hmm.
just want like a little bit. So I watered it down, added lots of ice, and I was like, wow, okay, this is actually delicious. Like I can get behind this. And I don't have to swallow a bunch of capsules because I was so over swallowing pills. I was swallowing so many pills and then eating handfuls of gummies and like just trying to do all of the things because the supplement that I was taking before was like a fruit and vegetable based
Mm-hmm.
supplement, like high quality. So I was taking it partly because I know I wasn't eating enough, but um like it was just like supposed to be really good for you. So like not dogging that supplement in any way because it is good for you,
Yeah.
but it wasn't doing anything for me mentally. It just wasn't. And this just completely like changed everything. And like my body was finally absorbing it and I didn't have to swallow 8 to 12 pills a day. I didn't have to eat a handful of gummies. I literally mixed up a drink that took me 30 seconds and felt good within a half an hour. Like it was it's been 19 months now and I can't even believe how bad I used to feel and how simple it was to feel good.
Yes. I said the same thing. Like I didn't realize, I'm a supplement junkie, so I'd always bought different supplements, and kind of like we all do, like, oh, I need this one for my skin, and I need this one for digestion, and I need
Yeah,
this one for whatever. You buy a supplement for every little thing. Um, and I just never would never take them. Like they would sit on
yeah,
my counter, and I would never
yep,
take them because they were capsules. And
yep,
it's like, yeah, it's not that complicated, first world problems, but something about a drink and a drink that I actually look forward to having made me
yeah,
so consistent. And I think that's a big part of why I got the results I did. And, why we all get the results we do is because it was so easy to stay consistent because it was something I actually enjoyed. And I said the same thing. I'm like, I do not like artificially flavored, or not artificially flavored, but like stevia,
yeah,
usually. And I was like, I'm not gonna like the taste of this. I'm not gonna like it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
yes,
And even my husband this morning, I was drinking some yesterday and, splitting it with him. And this morning when he was getting ready for work, he was like, why don't you make me one of those tasty drinks? And so I put it in his coffee mug, like he's gotten the same kind of habit, like not drinking coffee in the mornings. And so I put it in his coffee mug for him. I was like, here you go. Here's your little cup of sunshine.
yeah,
But it is so good. It really is the thing that surprised me the most. Like not only getting the results on it, but that it's something I actually enjoy taking as opposed
yeah,
to a handful of capsules.
yeah, exactly. And that was like one of my fears too, is like if I don't, I'll literally, I was like, I'm gonna make one drink and it's gonna sit on my counter. And I was like, worst case scenario, my husband's gonna drink it because he'll drink anything. He'll take
Yeah.
all the capsules, like he'll do all the things. But
Yeah.
for me, like literally still have cupboards full of supplements and things that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take it. No, I don't take it.
No.
I take it
Mm.
once or twice, maybe. And then
Yes.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. I hate it when they get stuck in my throat, and I always have that fear that they're gonna get stuck. And I just don't. I
Yeah.
don't like it. Now reverse on the other hand, simple. Like
Yeah.
1 to 2, my husband would actually share it. So I take one a day. I don't have to swallow a handful. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, easy. Not something,
Yes.
not a big old. pill that's gonna get stuck. So, um, but yeah, he also takes it every single day. Like he takes the Rise and Source every single day. If he misses a day, he knows it. Like we'll be halfway through the day and he's feeling extra edgy. I'm like, have you taken your Rise
You
today?
seem angry. Have you taken your rise and source today?
Yeah. Yep.
I tell women that all the time. I'm like, get it for you, but share it with your husband. Like, make your husband take it too, because
Absolutely.
I do these hair mineral tests where I'm actually looking at the mineral patterns and going over like their intake paperwork and looking at, what might have caused the imbalance and like what supplements are going to be most beneficial to them. And before I found Rise and Source, I would get on full script and do like 3 to 4 supplements, so just bottles and capsules. But with men, I always thought, like even for everybody, not just men, but I've always thought, I wish I could just put everybody on something for their nervous system and trace minerals is what I would put them on. And especially, but I have found the more men's tests that I look at, that is exactly what they need. Because not to stereotype all men, everybody's different and uniquely made, but men tend to be very hard workers.
Yeah.
They tend to hold their feelings inside. So even when they're stressed, they're working hard, they're coming home, they're trying to be a good husband, good father, but they just kind of stuff down anything from their past, but even just their emotions of the day. But they work really hard at work, and so they just have this constant stress. And yes, we all have stress, and stress looks different for us, but it's the thing that's the easiest to address for the men because they're not always down. Women, especially, women trying to get pregnant are willing to do anything. They will buy the
Yeah.
ovulation strips. They will do jumping jacks. They'll stand on their head. They'll buy
Yeah.
whatever you tell them to buy. They are down to try absolutely anything. And men typically, not all, and it's okay. I'm not talking bad about the men, but men are typically, a little more hands off.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just how it is. But I'm like, if you can get this in his hands and make him his drink each day and hand it to him, it's something he's going to enjoy, and it's really going to address the thing that's affecting his mineral balance and his hormone balance the most. And it takes two to tango. Like we
Exactly.
typically in the fertility space, like quote unquote, blame it on the woman or focus on the woman way more than we focus on the man. But we got to have a healthy egg and a healthy sperm. So we got to take care of both, both man and wife. And I really think that
Exactly.
Rise and Source is the best way to do that. The easiest way to get your man, get him something that's really helping him at a root cause level that he'll actually enjoy.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, my husband is such a hard worker. He's always worked really hard, really long hours. And then he comes home and he takes care of everything at home. I mean, he does, again, not to stereotype,
Hmm.
he does more than most traditional style husbands. Like he takes really, really good care of me. He takes good care of our kids. And um he needed something just as bad as I needed something.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of trauma and a lot of stuff that he never really addressed. And it was it was just as life-changing for him as it was for me. And so I always like to like include him in that because like you're right, it takes two. And if you're only addressing it on one side, then like people's vibrations, they will come off. So if you yourself are feeling, overwhelmed, dysregulated, and all of this stuff, then that's going to bleed out into everyone in your
Hmm.
household. Like my mom always used to tell me when I was a kid, like your mood affects everybody. And so if your mood is off, everyone else's mood is going to be off. So if your husband's mood is off, your mood is going to be off too. So even if you are taking these great products and you're feeling a little bit better, like what your husband comes home and he's
Hmm.
stressed out and he's overwhelmed, and even if he's not, if you're somebody like me, I guess, because maybe not everyone realizes it and like is like as I guess empath, is that the
Hmm.
right word?
Yeah.
Where you feel other people's emotions really,
Hmm.
really heavy, even if they're trying to hide it. Yeah, same. So, that was something that was like big for both of us, and it still is sometimes. Like this, obviously, like these products aren't just gonna completely fix everything, but they help us to recognize, like, okay, here's what's going on. Like, I can feel you're really stressed out. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do for each other, like how we can be there for each other. and they've helped us communicate so much, like actually like calm down and open up to each other so much. Like we've been married for 11 years, but it's it's not been, always like the most open communication and stuff because we both have been going through our own stuff. And so to have these products to where we're able to just communicate with each other well has helped so much. And it's just been life changing, honestly, like
Yeah.
in so many ways.
That is really beautiful and something like I didn't even really think about, honestly, but you're right. It's like when we are living this dysregulated, like our nervous system is dysregulated and we're talking about like that negative loop. You feel bad mentally, you feel bad physically. It's hard to have patience for your husband or
Yeah,
to communicate with him, and it's hard for them because they don't really know how to help you, and that
yeah,
can lead to fights that really aren't, you're not really mad at each other. You're both just struggling and just need help. And
yeah,
just like what a beautiful thing to come together and be like, let's work on, our nervous system together. So not only can we get pregnant, but like we can have a better marriage.
yeah,
So that's really beautiful. What did he say when you told him? Because you said, you had Archie and then it took 5 years to get pregnant with Aspen, right? Aspen was the second
yes,
one. And
yeah,
so then you thought like, well, two, that's it. Like that's all we're gonna do because we're not going back to the fertility clinic. And then you turn up and you're both kind of like at peace with like, well, we're gonna be happy with what we have. What happened when you told him that you were pregnant?
we cried. We literally both cried just and we were like this is happening. And so there's such a big age gap between Archie and Aspen. So Archie was almost 8 when Aspen was born. And so this, like, I think the reality of like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a toddler and a newborn. Like, this is terrifying.
Yeah.
We were scared. We were overwhelmed. Like, I can't believe this is happening. But most of all, like, we were just so happy. And we literally, like, he was still sleeping when I went and took the test. So, we were getting ready for church and well, I was getting ready for church. He was still sleeping and I came in and I just like put the test in his face and I was like, tapped on him. Like, I'm pregnant. And I just like I crawled in bed with him and we just cuddled and cried for like a good 10 minutes and then we were just like laughing, crying, like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I can't believe this is really happening. And he was so happy. Like we always wanted a big family. He's from a big family. I'm from a big family. I have three sisters. There's four of us. He has four siblings. There's five of them. Like
Yeah.
we wanted lots of kids, and to be to be content with two was very hard.
Yeah.
Um, very, very hard. And so it was just kind of like, wow, okay, thank you, God. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
That is beautiful. I tell people too, not only does God care about you and your fertility journey and that like wants to bless you with a baby, but like God also cares about you. And it's like, yeah, he wants you to get pregnant, but he also cares about you. So I think sometimes, it's like when we're in these waiting seasons, it's like, remember God loves you as much as he loves this baby that's coming. So it's like he wants you to take care of yourself and he wants you to feel better. And like you said, like not focus on the distractions, but get down to the root of what needs to be addressed so that you can take care of yourself, because he wants that for us. So,
Yes.
yeah, I love that. I love that so much. This is such a good story. To wrap it all up, Michael, what is one piece of advice you would give to the women listening to this podcast that are still in their season of waiting, or what I call a season of preparation, and waiting and trying to get pregnant? What's the one thing you want to leave them with today?
Ah. Honestly, there's just so many things, but I feel like the biggest issue for me was there was a lot of people speaking into me and telling me that I just need to pray harder and I just need to focus on reading my Bible more and like all of this stuff, which yes, that's true. Like, yes, read your Bible, open your Bible, read it, go to church, have your community. But when you are so stuck mentally, it is hard to do any of that. I didn't even want to be around people. And so I would say stop, like keep praying, but also like take action. Like, you cannot sit there and just pray and never take action. So I would say yes, like try these products. Even if it makes no logical sense, just try them. Get your nervous system right. Focus on your nervous system because if you're trying a million things, I can almost guarantee you're stressed out and you're anxious and you're feeling like incredibly overwhelmed because nothing is working. Just address your nervous system. Don't don't stop trying, but like look at it from a different angle and try rise and source. Like you literally have nothing to lose. You can return it. If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work for you, you can return that empty tub after 30 days and you're right back where you started, like we were talking about earlier. And so yeah, I like
Yeah.
stop, don't stop praying. I don't want to say stop praying, but
Yes.
stop just only praying. Like your solution could be addressing your nervous system
Yeah.
and getting your mental health right. Because if it's not right, like nothing else is right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is like perfectly said because I say all the time, it's like, yes, we know that, God has a good plan for us and we're on God's timing, but we still meet him halfway. Like we don't
Exactly.
like sit in a corner and hope to get pregnant. Like we take the action and we take the step. So, and trust his process and his timing of like, hey, that's out of my control, but I will control what little bit I can control. I will do what little, I always call them baby steps. I'll take the baby steps in faith I can to meet God halfway as I wait on his perfect timing. So that was really well said. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Michael, and just like all you dropped a lot of good nuggets in here. And so I can't wait to even like listen back to this and pull out like really good quotes because you spoke a lot of truth today. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode touched your heart or taught you something, I'd be honored if you share it with a friend who could use the information too. And if you want to be the real MVP, then would you also take 30 seconds to tap those 5 stars at the bottom and leave a written review telling me what you're loving? It lights me up to know this podcast is really helping you. Don't forget, you're super cute and super fertile, so meet me back here next week and let's keep chatting and learning together.